Right, it's time for what my sowing and growing video for July, and I've got to close the door because it's a bit chilly, and I've been painting all day and just motivated myself to come out and do this quick video because I haven't got very much time for gardening right now. It's the sowing and growing video, so the first bit is the growing video for July. So what have I got growing? And it's all pretty much on this bench here. So I'll quickly run through it. I'll start at this end. So all my basil died, I had to start again and didn't have time to sow it. So I got a packet from the supermarket, just broke it up into individual plants. And these are all actually grown pretty well now. So quite happy with those. Oh, I'm gonna have to close this door a bit more. I've got a few calabrese, I've got some fennel, I've got some radicchio down here. I've got my last batch of beetroot, that's my storage beetroot. More fennel there that I potted on. It's actually looking way better than that stuff down there. And then 3 successions of brassicas. And here I've got calabrese, purple sprouting broccoli, kales, cabbages, cauliflowers, and all that. And then basically a repeat. So Savoy cabbages, a few red cabbages, got most of the red cabbages all planted out, but then some cauliflowers, calabrese and all that, and then basically the same thing down there. So 3 nice successions, that should keep us going. And that is it, that is all I've got growing seedling wise. It's a pretty relaxing time, July, for me. Greenhouse is still pumping it out, and I'll do a separate video I think of the greenhouse so I can keep this one short. So what am I sowing in July? So first one is an experimental sowing. I am missing spinach in my salad mixes, so I'm going to try 2 batches this month of Santa Cruz spinach. It is definitely going to go to seed. So the issue is, how long can I keep it going? Can I get 2 harvests off it or 3 harvests off it before it goes to seed? It's just that time of year. You can't really stop spinach going to seed. But in order to try and give it the best possible chance, I'm going to start it under my grow lights in a cool bedroom. So it'll be cold enough for it. And I'm only going to give it 12 hours of daylight, of artificial light. So hopefully when it gets planted out, it's going to think it's in spring. And then obviously it's going to get a bit of a shock because it's going to get more heat and light than it's expecting. So that's going to trigger it to go to seed. But hopefully, and it might not work, hopefully I'll get 1, 2, maybe 2, maybe 3 if I'm really lucky picks off it. And so I'll have another batch ready to go a couple of weeks later that'll take over from it, and we'll see whether it works or not. And if anybody's got any feedback on trying to grow spinach at this time of year, then please let me know. And then I'm going to do the next batch of chard. We've got a small batch of chard already. Some of that will go to seed probably. It almost always does if we get a hot spell and it gets a bit stressed. So I like to have a follow-on crop. Again, not very many plants, maybe 20 plants or something like that. And then I'm doing my parsley for the polytunnel in winter. I start it in July. And so a nice big plants, put them in containers and then move them into the polytunnel sort of October time, something like that. And obviously I know that parsley will survive over winter outside, or pretty much most winters, but it does really, really well in a polytunnel, and the leaf quality is so much higher and the rate of growth is so much higher, and it just looks really nice. So best to do the curly leaf ones rather than the flat leaf ones. And then last batch of carrots. Got loads of carrots in containers already that I did back in June. They've all germinated and they're going to be the ones we're going to be eating in our salads in winter. So I probably won't harvest any of those until they've had the first frost on them, because carrots just taste so much better once they've had a frost on them. And yes, that's the carrots. I'm going to do Napoli. It's a really reliable carrot and it's really sweet after a frost. I might, or I might not, do some more radicchio because I've got some down here and it's all germinated. I might not need any more, but yeah, I might do a batch of radicchio, we'll see. I'm not a massive radicchio fan. I don't really like the bitterness in it. I know some people say, but it's bittersweet. I can't really detect the sweet bit of it very much with my palate, but I do like the colour of it, and it really, you know, just a few leaves of it in the salad mixes really brighten them up, and I just eat it with a grape or something like that to offset the bitterness a little bit. I've got a lot of tomatoes growing in these hanging baskets, and they're doing really well. I mean, they don't look particularly healthy, but they've been we're feeding us with tomatoes all the way through May and all the way through June. So, you know, they've been really productive, and they've easily paid for the heat that I had in the greenhouse over winter. I like the look of them, although I keep banging my head on them. So I'm going to sow another batch of tumbler, and these are actually red profusion, but I'm going to do tumbler in the next batch, and get these back in the polytunnel in sort of September time or something like that, and see how long I can keep them going, and ideally keep them going to the end of the year. Tomatoes, unlike cucumbers, you know, they don't need it quite as warm. Trouble with cucumbers is that basically, you know, if it's not sort of 13 degrees or something like that, they don't fruit very effectively, and it would cost a fortune to keep this greenhouse at 13 degrees, you know, all the way through winter. So I try to keep it frost free, but I don't do anything more than that. So anyway, that's the tumblers, and yeah, I'll probably do those early July. And then lettuces. I'm sorry, my throat is quite croaky. I've had a cough for 2 weeks, and it's pretty much gone now, but yeah, it's knocked me back a little bit, and it's certainly tickling while I'm talking now. So, lettuces. Lettuces are a bit of a challenge for me in midsummer, June, because midsummer and early August, because of caterpillars, which really affects the allotment really badly, and sometimes I just have like my whole lettuce patch just turned into mush in a couple of days. And in the kitchen garden here, lettuce root aphid. So it's a bit tricky for me really, like what do I do? Because if I can't put them here and I can't put them on the allotment, where do I put my lettuces? And we eat a salad pretty much every day. So I've got a few strategies which I'll go through now. So the first one is, I find there's a few varieties, particularly canaster, which the caterpillars don't seem to touch. So I'm doing canaster on the allotment. And then lettuce root aphid doesn't seem to affect us much. Navara, Alanix, and if I can pronounce this one, what is it? Emochion. So I'm doing those three in the kitchen garden to see again whether that sort of how resistant they are to root aphid. And then I'm doing flashy butter oak, flashy lightning butter oak, which I just really like, and Grenoble red, which I really like, and I'll just sort of scatter those around. So that's the third strategy, which is scatter things around in lots of different places. And the chances of getting root aphid in lots of different places and the chances of getting caterpillars in lots of different places is quite slim. So by using those three strategies, I hope to keep my lettuce crop going all the way through August, which I've pretty much never managed to do without problems. So we'll see how that goes. I'm starting back with my favourite salad onion now. So I've got lots of Summer Island and Entita, which are salad onions that grow well during summer. And so I'll start switching over to salad onions that grow well in autumn in July. And obviously I'll be planting them out sort of, you know, late August or something. And so they're really going to be growing primarily in September. And Garsman's my favourite. And then I'm just going to do another experimental really, which is these Joy Choy, Komatsuma, Tatsoi and Red Stem Pak Choi. So they will also probably go to seed, and obviously there are also so many pests around for Asian greens in summer. So there's no point dedicating like a really big bed to them or something like that, because the chances of that particular bed succeeding is quite slim. So I think, again, my strategy with Asian greens is to scatter them around, hoping that at least a few of them will do well. And I'll probably do some in hanging baskets. I've still got some hanging basket space in here. I might pop some in here, but I probably will put them along there where I've got those strawberries hanging at the moment. And yeah, and as I say, I'll scatter them around in a few different places. I'll put a few in the polytunnel, I'll put a few in between my peppers. I'll say put some in hanging baskets, and hopefully I'll get, you know, just a small crop. I just like, again, Asian greens in my salad mixes, and I just love those crunchy stems. And it's a hedge, isn't it, against my lettuces not doing so well. So if I've got a bit of spinach and I've got a few Asian greens and I've got a few bits of lettuce, I'll probably get through August, and I'll see how we go. And then I should really have done these kales in June to be planted out in sort of July, early August or something like that. But I didn't get round to it, and I really don't have any space in the kitchen garden to put them. And I definitely don't have any space on the allotment, because my allotment's got clubroot. So I can't really plant brassicas out in summer because they just get clubroot. So my strategy is always to plant them out in the cool weather, you know, sort of October time really, from October through to sort of the end of February, something like that, and then have them all harvested by May, June. And that way, clubroot doesn't really affect me, because clubroot's only just starting to get going basically in sort of mid-spring. And so all those plants are basically pretty much finished by then. So that's what I like to do. So with these kales, there's just a few of them, and they're primarily going to be sown just in case I get any losses of my other brassicas, and I'll just have these as spares to pop in if I need to. So I'm doing anyway Reflex, Cadet, which are 2 green curly kales, and Pentland Brig, all of which I've got going at the moment anyway. And so, as I say, these are really reserves. And then I've just got as placeholders in my sowing guide spring cabbages, and I like to do Offenham and what's the other one called? Caraflex. But because of the clubroot problems, because I will put them on my plot which has got clubroot, there's basically no point in planting these out in, you know, late August or something like that on my plot. They'll just get clubroot and die. So I think it's much better for me, in my situation, to start them in November under grow lights and plant them out in February, and then harvest them in sort of late April, May time. And again, by doing that, I'm not affected by clubroot. They may be 2 weeks later than they would be if I started them early. Because I'm starting them under grow lights, they just go faster. And I only put them under grow lights for, you know, a few weeks. That gives them enough of a boost really to grow then over winter quite happily. And they'll be in this greenhouse. And then the second batch of spinach, just in case, well, not just in case, because it will definitely happen. The first batch goes to seed. This will just be the follow-on. And peas. So honestly, I'm getting a bit fed up of peas now. We've had them since April. I've been eating them every day. But you know, the grandkids love them. Debbie likes them, and I don't mind them occasionally in autumn. But if you're going to grow peas in autumn for harvest in autumn, so sow them now. They've got to be a variety that's mildew resistant. Otherwise, well, for me anyway, my climate, they just get mildew and they're a waste of time. So terrain pea is the best I know for that. And grown those a few times. I'll only do like a couple of containers or something like that. And that'll be enough just to keep us going with fresh peas. And got my last succession there, my main crop succession of peas there, which are coming on really nicely. And then my first, well, not my first, so then I'm going to do some Tokyo cross turnips. I don't grow them for harvest during summer, so I've harvested them through spring, then I stop harvesting them all the way through summer. But if I start these in late July, then I'll be planting them out in sort of, the middle of August or something like that. And then I'll be harvesting the first ones in early September. And the taste is so much better than ones that are harvested in summer, in my opinion. So, I'll have a few successions coming of those in August as well. And they're pretty good. And they're generally, when you're going into autumn with turnips, they're holding the ground much better than ones in spring. So they can get a bit big and woody when they're growing in spring, but when they're going into autumn and light levels are dropping and it's getting colder, they're just keeping the ground much better. So, next batch of lettuce, always doing batches of lettuce, and that's it. So, not a bad month for sowing, not too much going on. Most of the important sowings have been done, they're all on here. And then, August gets much more important because that's when we do all the salad onions through August and loads of the winter veggies. And then obviously in September, we do the rest of the winter veggies. So August and September, big important sowing months. This one isn't very important. Last month was really important. There's a lot of food there on that bench and looking forward to getting it planted. Anyway, all the details are down in the description below. My name's Steve. This is the Seaside Kitchen Garden and Allotment channel, and I'll see you soon.